How to Force Yourself to Work Hard, written by Justin Tracy, published by Simple Audiobooks. Introduction. Most people struggle with working hard because they rely too much on motivation, which is unpredictable and unreliable. They wait for the perfect moment to feel inspired, but the reality is that motivation fades quickly, leaving them stuck in a cycle of procrastination and regret. The most successful people don't depend on motivation. They have trained themselves to take action no matter how they feel. This book is about developing that level of self-discipline and mental toughness, where working hard becomes a habit rather than a choice. Many people set goals and dream of success, but they never achieve their full potential because they can't force themselves to work consistently. They get distracted by social media, entertainment, and short-term pleasures, pushing aside the tasks that truly matter. Even when they know what they should be doing, their mind resists, and they give into laziness, comfort, or self-doubt. This book will help break that cycle by teaching you how to override your excuses, push past mental resistance, and take control of your productivity. Hard work isn't just about effort. It's about creating the right systems and habits that make productivity automatic. Many people assume that discipline is something you either have or don't have. But that's not true. Discipline is built through repetition and structure. When you eliminate distractions, control your environment, and set clear rules for yourself, working hard becomes easier. The problem is that most people don't set up these conditions. Instead, they rely on willpower alone, which eventually fails. This book will teach you how to build a routine that forces you to work, even when you don't feel like it. It will show you how to eliminate the biggest time wasters, set deadlines that create pressure, and use psychological triggers to keep yourself accountable. Instead of relying on temporary bursts of energy, you will learn how to sustain consistent effort every single day. A major reason people struggle with working hard is that they allow their emotions to control them. They wait until they feel like working, but the truth is that your emotions are unreliable. You might wake up excited one day and completely drained the next, but if your success depends on how you feel, you will never be consistent. This book will help you take control of your mind by showing you how to separate your emotions from your actions. When you master this skill, you will be able to work regardless of your mood, energy levels, or external circumstances. You will learn how to push through boredom, fatigue, and frustration so that nothing can stop you from making progress. Instead of being controlled by feelings of laziness or self-doubt, you will develop the ability to act decisively, even when it's uncomfortable. Another challenge is that most people are not aware of how their brain works when it comes to discipline and effort. Your brain naturally seeks comfort and avoids pain, which is why it resists hard work. However, if you learn how to reprogram your mind, you can turn effort into something enjoyable instead of something you dread. This book will teach you how to use rewards and consequences to condition yourself to take action. When you associate pleasure with productivity and pain with procrastination, working hard will become second nature. The strategies in this book will help you rewire your habits. So instead of feeling resistance when you start working, you will feel an internal drive pushing you forward. Many people think they are lazy or lack discipline, but in reality, they simply don't have the right strategies in place. If you are constantly struggling to stay focused, get things done, and maintain consistency, it's not because you're incapable, it's because you haven't trained yourself to work despite discomfort. This book will show you how to build unshakable self-discipline, making it easier to force yourself to work hard, even when everything in you wants to quit. You will learn how to use external accountability, structure your time effectively, and create an environment where productivity is the default. By following the principles outlined in this book, you will finally break free from the cycle of procrastination and step into a level of discipline that will set you apart from the majority of people. Hard work is not about waiting for the perfect moment or relying on motivation. It's about creating a mindset and system that forces you to take action, no matter what. Chapter 1. The Truth About Motivation. Most people mistakenly believe that motivation is the driving force behind success, but in reality, motivation is one of the most unreliable and inconsistent sources of energy when it comes to getting things done. Motivation is nothing more than a temporary emotional state. It fluctuates based on your mood, environment, and circumstances, making it completely unreliable for long-term success. One day, you might feel highly energized and eager to work, but the next day, you may feel tired, lazy, or uninspired, leading you to procrastinate and avoid your responsibilities. This is why so many people start something with excitement, whether it's a new business, a fitness routine, or a personal project, but as soon as the initial excitement fades, they give up, making little to no progress. Relying on motivation is one of the biggest mistakes people make, because it creates a cycle of inconsistency, working hard only when they feel like it, instead of taking action regardless of their emotions. This cycle traps people in a loop where they constantly start and stop, never building real momentum or achieving meaningful progress. True success is not built on motivation, but on discipline, consistency, and the ability to take action even when you don't feel like it. The reason motivation fails is that it is based on emotions, and emotions are unreliable. They are influenced by external factors like stress, sleep, weather, or even the people around you, meaning that waiting for motivation is the same as giving up control over your productivity. The most successful people in any field understand that action must come first regardless of how they feel, because taking action consistently is what leads to results. Instead of depending on motivation, they build habits, routines, and mental frameworks that force them to work no matter what. Think of professional athletes. They don't train only when they feel like it. They have structured routines that they follow every day, even when they are exhausted or unmotivated. Business leaders don't make decisions based on their mood. They execute strategies and complete tasks because they have trained themselves to be disciplined. This is what separates those who succeed from those who never reach their potential: the ability to work regardless of how they feel. The problem with waiting for motivation is that it gives you an excuse to avoid work whenever you don't feel inspired. It allows you to tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow. I'm just not in the mood right now," or "I'll work when I feel ready." But the truth is, you will never always feel ready. Motivation is unreliable because it's tied to the brain's reward system, which craves instant gratification. When something feels exciting and new, the brain releases dopamine, making you feel energized and motivated. But as soon as the work becomes repetitive, difficult, or boring, that dopamine level drops, and so does your motivation. This is why people quit diets, abandon fitness programs, and give up on learning new skills, because the initial rush disappears, and they don't know how to push forward without it. The key to breaking the cycle is to stop relying on motivation and instead develop systems of discipline that make working hard a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. One of the biggest myths about motivation is that successful people always feel motivated. This is completely false. The most productive and high-achieving individuals do not feel motivated all the time. In fact, they experience the same moments of laziness, doubt, and frustration as everyone else. The difference is that they don't let those feelings dictate their actions. They have trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel by creating external systems of accountability, strict routines, and an identity built around hard work. They understand that success comes from consistency, not from occasional bursts of effort when they happen to feel motivated. If you only work when you feel like it, you will never achieve anything significant, because success requires long-term commitment and persistence. If you look at the most accomplished individuals in any industry, athletes, entrepreneurs, writers, artists, you will see that they all follow strict routines and work even when they don't feel like it. To truly force yourself to work hard, you need to replace motivation with discipline. Discipline is the ability to take action regardless of your emotional state. Unlike motivation, which comes and goes, discipline is built through repetition, habit, and commitment to a structured process. Discipline is what allows you to sit down and work when you are tired, to go to the gym when you don't feel like it, and to push through challenges even when they seem overwhelming. The good news is that discipline can be trained. It starts by eliminating choices, removing the option to skip work or procrastinate. If something is non-negotiable, you will do it no matter what. For example, brushing your teeth doesn't require motivation because it has become an automatic habit. The same principle applies to productivity. When you create a system where work is mandatory, not optional, you will always get things done. One of the most powerful ways to remove the need for motivation is to create strict routines. Routines eliminate the need to think about whether you should work or not because they turn actions into automatic behaviors. When you wake up, do you debate whether you should brush your teeth? No, because it has become a habit. The same should apply to your work and responsibilities. By setting a fixed schedule, defining clear start and end times, and removing distractions, you create an environment where work becomes natural rather than something you have to force yourself to do. The more structured your day is, the less room there is for excuses. Instead of waiting for motivation to push you into action, you use discipline and structure to ensure that work happens every day, no matter what. Another key factor in overcoming dependence on motivation is creating external accountability. If you struggle to stay consistent, find ways to hold yourself accountable. Set deadlines, tell others about your goals, or use productivity tools to track progress. When you know that you have to complete something, you are far less likely to let emotions or laziness get in the way. Successful people don't rely on willpower alone. They use external pressures, such as public commitments, strict schedules, or financial consequences, to ensure they follow through. These methods remove the need for motivation because they make action the only option. A major shift in mindset is required to transition from a motivation-dependent approach to a discipline-driven approach. Instead of waiting for the right feeling, train yourself to act despite discomfort. Learn to accept that work is not always exciting or fun, but it is necessary for long-term success. Develop the ability to push through boredom, fatigue, and resistance, knowing that every action you take brings you closer to your goals. The more you do this, the stronger your self-discipline will become, and the less you will rely on motivation to get things done. In the end, motivation is a luxury, not a necessity. It is nice when it's there, but it should never be the foundation of your success. If you rely on motivation, you will always be inconsistent because motivation is unpredictable. However, if you build discipline, you will be able to force yourself to work no matter what, ensuring that progress happens every single day. The reality is that if you only work when you feel motivated, you will never be consistent, and without consistency, success is impossible. Those who succeed in life do so not because they feel motivated all the time, but because they have trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel. If you truly want to reach your full potential, stop waiting for motivation and start mastering the discipline that will make success inevitable. Chapter 2: Building a Strong Work Ethic. Building a strong work ethic is a comprehensive process that involves more than just getting things done when it's convenient or when motivation strikes. It requires developing an internal commitment to consistently putting in effort, regardless of external circumstances. A strong work ethic is grounded in discipline, focus, and responsibility. It is about committing to your work every single day, regardless of how you feel or what obstacles stand in your way. The key is to understand that success doesn't come from one burst of effort, but from sustained, consistent action over time. When you have a strong work ethic, you prioritize doing what needs to be done, even when it's difficult, tedious, or not immediately rewarding. You become someone who shows up, day after day, and puts in the work without hesitation or complaint. This mindset is not something that happens overnight, but is cultivated through repeated action and a conscious choice to take responsibility for your goals and progress. A big part of building a strong work ethic is learning to separate yourself from distractions and excuses. It's very easy to get sidetracked by feelings of laziness, distractions, or external setbacks, but a strong work ethic thrives on the ability to recognize when you're making excuses and push through them. Instead of letting temporary discomfort or inconvenience derail your efforts, you accept that work can be hard, unglamorous, and challenging, but it's always necessary for growth. You begin to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to grow, develop your skills, and demonstrate your commitment. Each challenge is an opportunity to prove your ability to keep going, even when things get tough. In essence, a strong work ethic requires a mindset that values effort over results in the short term, knowing that the rewards will come later. At the heart of building a strong work ethic is developing the ability to take personal responsibility. This means no longer blaming external factors like circumstances, people, or bad luck for your lack of progress. When you have a strong work ethic, you realize that your success depends entirely on your choices and actions. It's easy to blame others or external conditions when things don't go your way, but a person with a strong work ethic focuses on what they can control: their effort, their attitude, and their commitment to the task at hand. Instead of waiting for someone or something to push them, they push themselves to keep moving forward, no matter what. This internal drive is what separates those who succeed from those who continually fall short. Building this internal drive involves shifting your focus from short-term rewards to long-term goals. Often, people give up or slack off because they don't see immediate results or instant gratification. They get discouraged when things aren't happening fast enough. But people with a strong work ethic know that the results come from repeated, consistent action over time, not from short-term victories or recognition. They're willing to make short-term sacrifices because they understand that the real rewards come with time and consistent effort. A strong work ethic means you stay focused on the bigger picture, understanding that even if things aren't immediately paying off, every ounce of effort you put in now is laying the foundation for success in the future. This mindset also requires an understanding that hard work is not always glamorous or fun. It's easy to be motivated when the work feels exciting or when you're seeing quick results, but a strong work ethic involves continuing to work hard, even when the excitement fades. The mundane, repetitive tasks and the moments of discomfort or boredom are where true discipline is built. People with a strong work ethic understand that these moments are just as important, if not more so, than the moments of inspiration or excitement. They understand that doing the hard, boring work consistently is what leads to long-term progress and achievement. To truly build a strong work ethic, you need to embrace routines and habits that support consistent effort. This is where structure becomes essential. Routines take the mental effort out of deciding whether or not to work, because you've already decided that work is a non-negotiable part of your day. When you establish habits like waking up early, working at the same time every day, or setting strict boundaries for distractions, you remove the emotional and mental struggle of trying to find motivation every day. A solid routine creates a sense of normalcy around hard work, making it easier to do the work even when motivation is low. Over time, these habits become automatic, making it even easier to continue your work ethic without needing to think twice about it. Accountability is another key element of a strong work ethic. When you hold yourself accountable, you take ownership of your results and are less likely to procrastinate or make excuses. External accountability, like sharing your goals with others, setting deadlines, or having a mentor, can reinforce your commitment to follow through. It creates a sense of obligation and urgency, making it harder to avoid work. But even more importantly, being accountable to yourself is what drives your internal motivation. When you know you're the only one responsible for your success, it forces you to take action regardless of how you feel in the moment. Perseverance is critical to building a strong work ethic. It's inevitable that you will face setbacks, failures, and challenges along the way, but these obstacles should not derail you. In fact, they should strengthen your resolve. People with a strong work ethic understand that failure is just a part of the process. Instead of seeing mistakes as a reason to quit, they see them as learning opportunities. They use setbacks as fuel to push even harder and continue improving. They develop a mental resilience that allows them to keep going when things get tough, knowing that every effort, even when it feels like a failure, is one step closer to success. Finally, the development of a strong work ethic is about cultivating an identity around hard work. It's not just about doing the work, it's about becoming someone who is known for working hard. When you identify as a person who is dedicated, responsible, and consistent, your work ethic becomes a reflection of who you are. This is why developing a strong work ethic is more about mindset than just behavior. It's about believing in the value of hard work and seeing it as a core part of your identity. Once you internalize the belief that hard work is non-negotiable, it becomes easier to do the work, even when you don't feel like it. The more you practice and embrace this mindset, the more natural it becomes, turning your work ethic into an automatic, ingrained part of who you are. With time, this will lead to sustained success and growth in all areas of your life. Chapter 3: Eliminating Distractions. Eliminating distractions is one of the most important steps you can take to significantly improve your productivity, focus, and ability to consistently produce quality work. Distractions, whether internal or external, constantly pull your attention away from your tasks, preventing you from fully engaging in the work that matters most. External distractions come in many forms, like smartphones, social media, notifications, email alerts, noisy environments, and even the people around you, all of which demand your attention at inopportune times. These distractions break your focus and prevent you from entering a state of deep concentration, where your most productive work can take place. Each time your attention is diverted, it can take several minutes to regain your original focus, which adds up over time and significantly reduces the quality and quantity of your output. Internal distractions, like wandering thoughts, worries, or the urge to procrastinate, are equally detrimental, as they lead to a lack of clarity and a fragmented mind, making it harder to maintain a sustained effort on your tasks. To overcome these barriers to productivity, you must first become aware of what is pulling you away from your work and actively take steps to minimize or eliminate those distractions. This requires conscious decision-making and a commitment to creating an environment where distractions have little to no opportunity to interfere with your work. One of the first steps in eliminating distractions is managing your physical and digital environments. The presence of technology, especially smartphones and computers, can be particularly disruptive. Every notification, alert, or ping acts as an invitation for your brain to switch gears, disrupting your focus and causing you to lose momentum. To mitigate these distractions, consider turning off non-essential notifications, setting your phone on silent or do not disturb mode, and placing it out of reach while you work. Another effective strategy is to designate specific times during the day for checking email or social media, rather than allowing them to be constant interruptions. By intentionally managing your time spent on digital devices, you regain control over how you allocate your attention, making it easier to stay on task. Similarly, your physical environment plays a huge role in your ability to focus. If you're working in a noisy or cluttered space, it can be incredibly difficult to concentrate for extended periods. Create a workspace that is clean, organized, and free from unnecessary distractions. If possible, work in a quiet area where you can control the noise level or use noise-canceling headphones to block out unwanted sounds. Structuring your physical and digital environments to minimize distractions is a powerful first step toward boosting your productivity and ensuring that you can focus on your tasks without external interruptions. In addition to managing your environment, eliminating distractions requires discipline and self-control, especially when it comes to managing your impulses. Many distractions are rooted in the brain's natural craving for instant gratification. When you feel bored, stressed, or overwhelmed, your mind may seek relief by turning to distractions like checking your phone, scrolling through social media, or watching a short video to provide a quick emotional escape. These activities, while seemingly harmless in the moment, can add up and eat away at your productivity. Overcoming this impulse requires developing mental discipline and the ability to resist the urge to seek out distractions. When you notice your mind beginning to wander or your hand reaching for your phone, it's important to consciously choose to return your focus to the task at hand. This may take practice, as resisting distractions is a habit that must be built over time. One helpful strategy is to remind yourself of the long-term benefits of staying focused, such as completing your tasks more efficiently and achieving your goals faster. When you acknowledge the immediate discomfort of staying focused as a necessary part of achieving your larger objectives, it becomes easier to push through the temptation to get distracted. In addition to managing external distractions and controlling your impulses, it is also crucial to structure your work time effectively. Setting clear goals and breaking your tasks into smaller, manageable chunks can prevent you from feeling overwhelmed and reduce the likelihood of procrastination. By establishing specific objectives for each session of work, you give yourself a clear direction and purpose, which helps to maintain focus and reduces the temptation to deviate from the task. Time blocking is another powerful technique for eliminating distractions, where you set aside dedicated periods of time to work on a particular task or project, free from interruptions. During these time blocks, it's important to avoid multitasking, as trying to juggle multiple tasks at once can reduce the quality of your work and increase the chances of distraction. By focusing on one task at a time and committing to completing it before moving on to another, you eliminate the mental clutter that often leads to distractions. Over time, these structured approaches help create a rhythm that makes it easier to stay focused and productive, reducing the opportunities for distractions to interfere. Another aspect of eliminating distractions is learning to say no. In both your personal and professional life, there will be times when you are asked to take on additional tasks or commitments that do not align with your immediate priorities or goals. Saying yes to every request can spread your attention thin and pull you away from your important work. Learning to say no, or at least setting boundaries around your time and energy, is crucial for maintaining focus and ensuring that you prioritize what truly matters. This can be difficult, especially if you feel pressure to please others. But in order to protect your focus and avoid distractions, it is important to develop the confidence to turn down requests that do not serve your current goals. Saying no is an essential part of setting boundaries and maintaining control over your time, allowing you to focus on the tasks that move you closer to success. Creating routines and habits also plays a significant role in eliminating distractions. When you have established routines, your brain can more easily transition into focused work mode because it knows what to expect and when. Routine helps you develop consistency, which in turn builds your ability to stay focused for longer periods. By scheduling regular work hours, taking breaks at set intervals, and sticking to a structured plan, you minimize the chances of distractions creeping in. This also makes it easier to work without feeling overwhelmed or scattered, as your brain becomes conditioned to focus during designated work times. Consistency in your work habits reduces the mental effort needed to stay on track, making it less likely that you'll fall victim to distractions. In the context of eliminating distractions, it's also essential to recognize the importance of rest and recovery. Overworking yourself can lead to burnout, mental fatigue, and a decreased ability to focus, which can actually increase the likelihood of distractions. By taking regular breaks, getting enough sleep, and practicing self-care, you ensure that you have the energy and mental clarity needed to stay focused when it counts. Taking time to recharge helps you maintain high levels of productivity over the long term and reduces the temptation to seek distractions as a way to avoid mental exhaustion. Lastly, accountability can play a powerful role in reducing distractions. When you have someone to hold you accountable, whether it's a colleague, a mentor, or even a friend, it becomes more difficult to justify distractions or procrastination. Knowing that someone is expecting you to show progress or deliver results can be a motivating factor that helps you stay on task. This external pressure creates a sense of responsibility and commitment to your work, making it less likely that you'll allow distractions to take over. Whether it's checking in with someone regularly or having set deadlines, accountability creates a system that keeps you focused and on track. Eliminating distractions is a process that requires intentional effort and a commitment to creating an environment where focus can thrive. By recognizing the different types of distractions, taking control of your surroundings, developing self-discipline, setting boundaries, and creating strong routines, you can significantly reduce the impact of distractions on your work. The key is to understand that distractions will always be present, but with the right strategies in place, you can choose to eliminate them and direct your energy toward the tasks that will lead to greater productivity and success. Chapter 4: Creating an Unbreakable Routine. Creating an unbreakable routine, one of the most effective strategies for ensuring consistent progress and success, as it takes the guesswork and willpower out of the equation. A routine is essentially a structured framework for your day, designed to prioritize your most important activities and allow you to focus your energy and attention on what matters most. The goal of building an unbreakable routine is to remove decision fatigue, the mental exhaustion that comes from having to make endless choices throughout the day. With a clear, consistent routine, you eliminate the need to constantly decide when and how you'll do things, because the structure of your day has already been established, and your actions flow in a predetermined, organized manner. It's important to start by identifying your most important tasks, those activities that directly contribute to your personal or professional growth, and giving them top priority. These should be non-negotiable elements of your day that come before everything else. If you structure your day around these high-priority tasks, you ensure that you're making progress in areas that matter most, and you also build a sense of purpose and accomplishment from the outset. One of the first steps in creating an unbreakable routine is choosing a set wake-up time. Waking up at the same time every day helps regulate your body's internal clock, making it easier to wake up energized and start your day with focus. Consistent wake-up times help reduce grogginess and ensure that you're beginning your day on a positive, productive note. When you wake up at the same time every day, you also create a feeling of stability and control, which sets the tone for the rest of your day. A solid routine should also include scheduled times for meals, exercise, and rest. By eating at the same times each day, you ensure that your energy levels remain consistent and that you avoid distractions related to hunger. Similarly, setting aside time for physical activity is crucial not just for health, but also for mental clarity and focus. Exercise helps release endorphins, which boost mood and cognitive function, making it easier to stay engaged and productive throughout the day. When exercise is built into your routine, it becomes a regular part of your day, helping to establish good habits that support your overall well-being. Rest and sleep are equally important in maintaining a strong routine. By ensuring you get adequate sleep each night and scheduling breaks throughout the day, you prevent burnout and recharge your mind and body, making it easier to stay focused and perform at a high level. The consistency of your routine is paramount. It's not about making your routine perfect. It's about sticking to it day after day, even when you don't feel like it. Over time, the routine becomes automatic, and the more you practice it, the less effort it takes to follow through. This is why it's important to start small and gradually build up to a full, unbreakable routine. If you try to overhaul every aspect of your day all at once, it may feel overwhelming, and you might be tempted to abandon the process. Instead, start by incorporating one or two key habits, such as setting a regular wake-up time or dedicating a specific block of time for focused work. Once these behaviors become ingrained, you can build on them by adding additional elements to your routine, such as meditation, journaling, or planning your day the night before. Over time, the repetition of these activities builds momentum, and your routine becomes an inseparable part of your life. An unbreakable routine also requires flexibility, as life is unpredictable, and things don't always go according to plan. However, the key to maintaining an unbreakable routine is to ensure that the core elements of your routine remain consistent, regardless of unexpected events. For example, if something interrupts your work schedule, find ways to make up for lost time by adjusting your routine or shifting tasks around. The idea is that the overall structure of your day remains intact, even if you need to adapt your approach to certain tasks. This flexibility is important because it prevents you from feeling like you've failed or fallen off track when things don't go as planned. Instead, it empowers you to keep moving forward by adapting your routine to changing circumstances, ensuring that you can maintain a sense of control during challenging or unpredictable situations. Building an unbreakable routine also requires the cultivation of strong habits, which are the building blocks of a routine. Habits are automatic behaviors that occur without much thought, and they're the key to making your routine feel effortless. The more you practice a particular habit, the more ingrained it becomes in your daily life. To build strong habits, It's important to start small and be consistent. If you try to introduce too many new habits at once, it can lead to overwhelm and burnout. Focus on one habit at a time, whether it's waking up at the same time, exercising regularly, or dedicating time to focused work. Once that habit is established, you can build on it by adding new habits or strengthening the existing ones. It's also helpful to track your progress and celebrate small wins along the way, as this reinforces positive behavior and makes it easier to stick to your routine. Another crucial aspect of creating an unbreakable routine is accountability. Having someone to check in with, whether it's a friend, mentor, or colleague, can significantly increase your chances of sticking to your routine. Accountability provides external motivation, making it harder to slack off or skip important tasks. It also helps you stay committed to your routine when things get difficult or when motivation is low. Whether it's a weekly check-in to track your progress or simply sharing your goals with someone you trust, accountability provides a layer of responsibility that keeps you on track. This external support can be the difference between falling off your routine and staying committed to it. Creating an unbreakable routine is not just about setting goals or managing time. It's also about cultivating a mindset of consistency and discipline. Your routine reflects your priorities and values, and by sticking to it, you demonstrate your commitment to your goals. Over time, the repetition of your routine reinforces your identity as someone who is disciplined, focused, and dedicated to achieving success. This shift in mindset is key to creating a routine that becomes a permanent part of your life. When your routine is aligned with your long-term goals and values, it becomes much easier to stick to it because you understand the purpose behind your actions. Lastly, it's important to understand that building an unbreakable routine is a gradual process. It's normal to encounter challenges along the way, and it's essential to be patient with yourself as you build new habits and adjust your routine. Success doesn't happen overnight, and your routine will evolve as you learn what works best for you. By staying consistent, making small adjustments as needed, and embracing flexibility, you can create a routine that supports your long-term success. Over time, this routine will become a non-negotiable part of your life, providing structure, clarity, and focus that helps you achieve your goals with minimal resistance. Chapter 5: Overcoming Mental Resistance. Overcoming mental resistance is one of the most significant obstacles to success and personal growth, as our minds are often the source of many of the barriers that prevent us from reaching our full potential. Mental resistance manifests in a variety of forms, such as procrastination, fear of failure, self-doubt, and the desire to seek comfort rather than push ourselves toward growth. This resistance is deeply rooted in the way the brain is wired. Our brains naturally prioritize comfort and pleasure, seeking to avoid pain, discomfort, or effort whenever possible. This can make tasks that require significant mental or physical exertion feel overwhelming and difficult to approach. When we face something challenging, our mind often goes into protective mode, signaling us to avoid it. This resistance is particularly strong when we're asked to step out of our comfort zones, which naturally triggers feelings of fear, anxiety, or uncertainty. However, these feelings, while natural, do not have to control our actions. The key to overcoming mental resistance lies in understanding its origins and developing strategies to push past it in order to take consistent action toward our goals. One of the first steps in overcoming mental resistance is becoming aware of the specific forms it takes. Awareness is essential because, often, the mental resistance we feel is unconscious and automatic. It may show up as procrastination, rationalizing why we should put off a task, or finding distractions to avoid facing what we need to do. This resistance might also take the form of self-doubt, where we tell ourselves that we're not good enough, capable enough, or deserving enough to achieve our goals. Once we become aware of these patterns, we can begin to reframe them. Instead of accepting mental resistance as a fixed barrier, we can reframe it as a signpost, indicating that we're approaching something that will lead to personal growth and improvement. For instance, instead of fearing failure, we can choose to see setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. Reframing mental resistance in this way allows us to develop a more positive, growth-oriented mindset that enables us to push through discomfort rather than avoid it. Another key element in overcoming mental resistance is breaking down large tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. Often, the overwhelming nature of a task is what triggers mental resistance. The larger and more daunting a goal seems, the more likely we are to procrastinate or give in to avoidance. By breaking a large task into smaller, more achievable actions, we reduce the mental load and make the task feel less intimidating. These smaller tasks feel much more doable and can help build momentum as we begin making progress. For example, instead of telling yourself, "I need to write a book," which can feel overwhelming, you could break it down into smaller steps like, "I will write 300 words today," or "I will outline the first chapter today." When you approach tasks with this step-by-step mindset, you reduce resistance and make the process feel much more achievable. Each small action becomes a victory that reinforces your ability to follow through, making it easier to keep going. Mental resistance is also linked to the way we perceive effort. Our brains often interpret effort as a sign of struggle or pain, which leads to a desire to avoid it. This is why we often procrastinate or avoid difficult tasks. We associate them with discomfort. However, overcoming this resistance requires us to develop a new relationship with effort. Instead of viewing effort as something to avoid, we must come to understand that effort is the path to progress and mastery. Every time we push through resistance, we build resilience, discipline, and skill. By reframing effort as a positive experience and opportunity for growth, rather than something to be feared, we can approach challenging tasks with a more positive, action-oriented mindset. It's important to remind ourselves that while effort may feel uncomfortable in the short term, it ultimately leads to greater satisfaction, accomplishment, and long-term success. This shift in perception allows us to push through resistance more easily, knowing that the discomfort is temporary and necessary for growth. Developing self-discipline is another critical component in overcoming mental resistance. Mental resistance is often a sign of a lack of discipline, the ability to continue acting in alignment with our goals, even when we don't feel motivated or when we're met with obstacles. Building self-discipline involves committing to a set of actions that will move us closer to our goals, regardless of how we feel in the moment. Self-discipline is like a muscle that can be strengthened over time by practicing small acts of willpower every day. The more we practice exercising discipline in small ways, such as sticking to a routine, resisting distractions, or following through on commitments, the easier it becomes to push through resistance in larger, more challenging tasks. It's about building the habit of taking action regardless of whether we feel like it, creating a sense of accountability to ourselves that keeps us moving forward, even when the initial excitement or motivation fades away. Another essential element in overcoming mental resistance is understanding the role of emotions. Often, mental resistance arises because we are avoiding the uncomfortable emotions associated with certain tasks, such as fear, anxiety, or frustration. These emotions are a natural part of growth, and rather than trying to avoid them, we must learn to sit with them and allow ourselves to feel them without letting them control our actions. This emotional resilience is key to pushing through resistance. Instead of allowing fear or discomfort to stop us, we can develop the emotional strength to continue moving forward despite the feelings that arise. It's important to recognize that emotions are not permanent. They are simply signals that we can acknowledge and then move past. By allowing ourselves to feel emotions without letting them dictate our behavior, we gain more control over our actions and become more resilient in the face of challenges. A powerful strategy for overcoming mental resistance is visualization. Mental resistance often stems from the fear of failure or the unknown, but by visualizing our success, we can create a mental image of the positive outcomes that will result from pushing through resistance. Visualization involves vividly imagining the process of working through a task and the rewards that will come from completing it. When we visualize success, we activate the brain's reward system, creating a sense of motivation and excitement that can counterbalance the resistance we feel. This mental rehearsal primes us for success, making it easier to overcome the initial mental barriers that hold us back. By regularly visualizing our success and the satisfaction we'll feel upon completion, we increase our motivation and decrease the mental resistance that often stands in our way. Overcoming mental resistance also involves shifting our focus from short-term discomfort to long-term rewards. Our brains tend to favor immediate gratification, which is why mental resistance often arises when faced with long-term goals that require sustained effort. To counteract this, we must train ourselves to focus on the bigger picture, the long-term rewards that will come from pushing through discomfort. When we focus on the bigger payoff, whether it's achieving a major life goal or feeling a sense of accomplishment, we're more likely to endure the short-term discomfort. This long-term perspective helps us stay motivated and resilient in the face of mental resistance, as we recognize that the discomfort we experience today will lead to greater fulfillment in the future. Finally, surrounding ourselves with support and accountability can help us overcome mental resistance. It's often easier to push through resistance when we have someone holding us accountable or offering encouragement. This support could come in the form of a mentor, coach, or accountability partner who helps us stay focused on our goals. When we share our struggles and progress with someone else, we gain external motivation to keep going, as we don't want to let others down or miss out on the opportunity to celebrate progress together. Having someone who believes in us and encourages us to push through resistance makes the process feel less daunting and reinforces our determination to succeed. Ultimately, overcoming mental resistance is about developing a mindset of persistence and resilience. By recognizing the resistance for what it is, breaking tasks into manageable steps, reframing discomfort as a sign of growth, building self-discipline, managing emotions, visualizing success, and surrounding ourselves with support, we can consistently push through mental barriers and take action toward our goals. With practice and patience, we can train our minds to focus on the long-term rewards and develop the mental strength needed to overcome any resistance that stands in our way. Chapter 6. The Science of Willpower. The science of willpower is deeply intertwined with both the biology of the brain and the psychology of human behavior, offering a fascinating insight into how we manage self-control, make decisions, and resist temptations. Willpower, often referred to as self-control or self-discipline, is governed primarily by the prefrontal cortex, which is the area of the brain associated with higher-order functions like planning, decision-making, reasoning, and managing emotions. This part of the brain helps us set and pursue long-term goals while resisting immediate temptations. When we use willpower to avoid distractions, stay focused on tasks, or delay gratification, we are actively engaging the prefrontal cortex. However, just as physical muscles tire after extended use, the prefrontal cortex also becomes fatigued after prolonged exertion of self-control, which leads to a depletion of willpower. This phenomenon, known as ego depletion, explains why we might find it increasingly difficult to maintain focus or stick to our goals later in the day after making multiple decisions or resisting numerous temptations. The concept of willpower as a limited resource has been explored extensively in psychological research. According to this theory, the more decisions we make, the more willpower we expend. Everyday decisions ranging from what to wear, what to eat, or how to spend our time drain our mental energy, leaving less available for tasks that require greater effort and self-control. Studies have shown that when people are faced with a series of decisions, their ability to exert willpower diminishes with each choice, making it more difficult to stay disciplined or make healthy decisions as the day progresses. This explains why people might struggle to resist unhealthy foods or procrastinate on important tasks later in the evening or after a series of other decisions. Ego depletion suggests that willpower is a finite resource that must be replenished, and understanding this helps us navigate how to conserve or build it for better long-term results. Importantly, willpower is not just something we use up. It can also be replenished and strengthened over time. Like any muscle, willpower can be trained with consistent effort. The more we practice self-control, the more we reinforce the neural pathways associated with willpower, making it easier to exercise in the future. Research has shown that individuals who regularly practice acts of self-control, such as sticking to a routine, resisting small temptations, or making deliberate decisions in alignment with their long-term goals, can actually increase their capacity for willpower over time. This concept is central to the idea of building self-discipline as a skill. Just as physical exercise strengthens the muscles, consistent practice of self-control strengthens the brain's ability to manage willpower, making it easier to resist urges or distractions and focus on important tasks. One of the key strategies for conserving willpower is to reduce decision fatigue, a psychological phenomenon where the brain becomes overwhelmed by the sheer number of decisions we must make throughout the day. When we have to make too many choices, our cognitive resources become depleted, and our ability to make thoughtful, controlled decisions diminishes. This is why many successful people, from CEOs to athletes, create routines and habits that minimize the number of decisions they have to make each day. For instance, by having a set schedule or pre-planning meals, tasks, or even outfits, we free up mental resources for more important decisions. This is why the most productive people often recommend reducing the need for decision-making by creating structure in their lives. The fewer choices we need to make, the more energy we have for tasks that require willpower. Another important aspect of willpower is motivation. Willpower is not purely about resisting temptation, it is also about the strength of our underlying motivation to achieve a goal. When we are highly motivated by a clear and compelling goal, we are more likely to muster the willpower needed to stay disciplined and follow through on our commitments. Motivation is the fuel that powers willpower, and the stronger our motivation, the more willing we are to push through challenges and resist distractions. However, motivation can fluctuate, so it is important to connect our daily actions with our long-term goals to maintain motivation, even when it wanes. Having a compelling reason behind the tasks we undertake, such as improving health, advancing our career, or creating financial security, can provide the emotional drive that strengthens willpower and helps us persevere through challenges. Mindfulness practices, including meditation, have also been shown to increase willpower. These practices help individuals become more aware of their impulses and emotions, allowing them to pause and make more deliberate decisions rather than react impulsively. By cultivating mindfulness, individuals can strengthen their prefrontal cortex's ability to manage willpower, making it easier to stay focused, resist distractions, and control urges. Meditation, in particular, has been linked to greater emotional regulation, stress management, and improved focus, all of which are essential for maintaining self-control. Mindfulness techniques help individuals build the mental resilience needed to keep going, even in the face of discomfort or fatigue, and strengthen their willpower over time. One approach to boosting willpower is the concept of implementation intentions. This technique involves planning in advance how to handle potential obstacles or temptations that may arise. For example, if someone knows they struggle with resisting unhealthy foods, an implementation intention might be to decide in advance what healthy snack they will eat when they feel the urge to indulge. By mentally rehearsing specific actions in response to challenges, people can make it easier to act in alignment with their goals, even when willpower is low. This technique reduces the cognitive load required to make decisions in the moment, helping people follow through on their intentions without needing to rely on immediate willpower. It turns difficult tasks into automatic behaviors, bypassing the mental resistance that often leads to procrastination or indulgence. Understanding the concept of ego depletion also allows us to develop strategies for dealing with periods of low willpower. When we're feeling mentally fatigued or have been exercising self-control for extended periods, it's essential to be kind to ourselves and recognize that willpower is not limitless. This recognition can help us avoid self-criticism and guilt, which often lead to further depletion. It's important to give ourselves permission to take breaks and recharge, whether through rest, relaxation, or engaging in activities that replenish our mental energy. Research suggests that self-compassion plays an essential role in maintaining willpower, as it reduces stress and promotes emotional resilience, which in turn helps preserve our capacity for self-control. Sleep also plays a critical role in willpower. When we're sleep-deprived, our ability to exert self-control diminishes significantly, making it harder to resist temptations, stay focused, and make healthy decisions. Sleep deprivation affects the brain's prefrontal cortex, reducing its ability to manage willpower and increasing the likelihood of impulsive behavior. Therefore, getting enough quality sleep is a crucial strategy for strengthening willpower and preventing ego depletion. By ensuring that we prioritize rest and recovery, we can maintain higher levels of self-control throughout the day, making it easier to stay focused and resist distractions. Finally, understanding the connection between willpower and habits can provide insights into how we can overcome challenges and reduce mental effort. Willpower is often required when we're breaking old habits or establishing new ones. However, once behaviors become habits, they no longer require as much willpower because they become automatic. This is why building positive habits such as regular exercise, eating healthfully, or following a routine can reduce the need for willpower over time. Habits reduce the mental energy required to make decisions, helping us maintain consistency and discipline without relying on willpower alone. The more we establish positive habits, the less we need to actively exert willpower, creating a more sustainable path to success. The science of willpower shows us that it's not just about trying harder to resist temptations, but about understanding the underlying mechanisms of self-control and using strategies that can serve and enhance it. Willpower is a limited resource, but with careful management, mindfulness practices, motivation, and the development of good habits, we can strengthen and replenish it over time, making it easier to achieve our long-term goals. Chapter 7: Accountability and External Pressure. Accountability and external pressure are key components in achieving success because they act as external forces that influence behavior, often pushing us to take action when internal motivation is lacking or waning. One of the primary reasons that accountability works so effectively is that it creates a sense of social responsibility. When we know that someone else is expecting us to follow through on our promises or goals, the fear of letting them down or facing negative consequences becomes a powerful motivator. This sense of responsibility can help us stay committed to our tasks, even when we don't feel like doing them. For example, when we make a commitment to a friend, family member, or colleague, the prospect of having to explain why we didn't follow through on that commitment can be more uncomfortable than the effort required to complete the task itself. This discomfort often drives us to take action, especially when the stakes are higher. Additionally, external accountability can prompt us to set clearer goals and track our progress, knowing that we will need to report our results to someone else. This increases our sense of purpose and direction, making it more likely that we will take the necessary steps to achieve those goals. The concept of accountability goes beyond just having someone monitor our progress. It also involves creating structures that ensure we remain committed. For instance, when we set regular check-ins with an accountability partner or a mentor, we create a system of ongoing evaluation and feedback. These check-ins provide an opportunity to assess how far we've come, reflect on what's working or not, and adjust our approach if necessary. Knowing that we will be held to a specific standard and evaluated regularly encourages us to stay on track and avoid procrastination. This structure not only helps maintain momentum, but also reinforces the importance of consistency and discipline. Additionally, the feedback we receive during these check-ins, whether positive or constructive, can help us refine our strategies and improve our performance. External accountability is especially effective when the person holding us accountable is invested in our success and is willing to offer guidance and support when needed, rather than just passively monitoring our progress. External pressure from sources such as deadlines, societal expectations, or even competition can further enhance our drive to take action. Deadlines, in particular, create a sense of urgency, pushing us to work more efficiently and avoid procrastination. When we are given a specific time frame to complete a task or project, it provides a clear boundary and helps us organize our time effectively. Without deadlines, tasks can feel indefinite, and the lack of urgency can lead to delays and distractions. The pressure of an impending deadline forces us to prioritize our tasks and focus on what needs to be done, increasing productivity and efficiency. Similarly, societal expectations or professional norms can exert external pressure that drives us to meet certain standards. For example, in a work environment, the expectation to meet performance targets or deliver high-quality results can push us to maintain a high level of effort and avoid complacency. This pressure can create a sense of accountability to not just ourselves, but also to our colleagues, superiors, or clients. The fear of negative consequences is another significant aspect of external pressure that can motivate action. For some people, the possibility of facing criticism, judgment, or failure is a stronger motivator than internal desire or intrinsic rewards. This fear can be particularly effective in environments where there are clear consequences for inaction or poor performance, such as in a job with strict performance reviews, a business with financial stakes, or a personal project where others are depending on us. In these situations, the fear of failure can outweigh the reluctance to exert effort, prompting us to take action rather than risk the negative fallout of not meeting expectations. The external pressure that comes from the possibility of failure or disappointment serves as a wake-up call that encourages us to push through discomfort and stay focused on our objectives. One of the unique aspects of external pressure is its ability to break down resistance. Mental resistance is a natural barrier to productivity, as it often manifests as procrastination, self-doubt, or avoidance. However, when external pressure is introduced, it can override this resistance and force us to take action. For example, the knowledge that someone else is waiting for our report or feedback can help us push through the natural desire to delay or avoid the task. In many cases, the pressure of knowing that others are watching can help us overcome the initial hesitation or reluctance to start a project. This external pressure creates a sense of urgency that can transform the act of starting a task into a non-negotiable priority, reducing the opportunity for procrastination to take hold. Another powerful way external pressure works is by leveraging the idea of social influence and the desire for approval. Humans are social creatures, and the need for acceptance or recognition from others is deeply ingrained in our psychology. When we are aware that our actions are being observed or evaluated by others, we are more likely to engage in behaviors that align with social norms and expectations. This desire for approval can be a strong motivator to push through challenges and work harder toward achieving our goals. For example, if we are working toward a goal in a group setting, knowing that our efforts will contribute to the success of the team can increase our commitment and motivation. Similarly, sharing our progress with others or seeking public accountability can create a sense of pride and a greater drive to succeed, as we want to live up to the expectations we've set for ourselves and others. Public commitment, or declaring our goals openly, is another effective form of external pressure that can enhance our motivation. When we publicly commit to a goal, we are more likely to follow through because we want to avoid the embarrassment or loss of face that can come from failing to meet that commitment. Public accountability can take many forms, such as sharing our goals on social media, telling friends or family about our objectives, or even making a formal promise to a colleague or supervisor. The public nature of this commitment increases the social pressure to succeed, which can drive us to take the necessary actions to meet our goals. This pressure can be particularly effective when we feel a sense of responsibility, not only to ourselves, but also to those who are aware of our commitment. In addition to the fear of failure, external pressure can also come in the form of positive reinforcement and rewards. When there are external incentives tied to our performance, such as bonuses, promotions, or recognition, the pressure to perform can drive us to work harder and maintain focus. Positive external pressure provides motivation by aligning our efforts with tangible rewards, creating a system of cause and effect that reinforces our behavior. The anticipation of a reward can be a strong motivator, especially when the reward is meaningful or desirable. This can apply not only in professional settings, but also in personal development, where the desire for acknowledgement or personal achievement can drive us to stay disciplined and committed to our goals. Over time, the combination of external pressure and accountability can lead to the development of intrinsic motivation. As we repeatedly experience the positive results of following through on commitments and meeting expectations, we begin to internalize these behaviors, transforming them into habits that require less external pressure to maintain. For example, a person who consistently meets deadlines and receives recognition for their efforts may eventually develop a sense of pride in their ability to manage time effectively, turning what was once an externally driven behavior into an internal habit. This transformation can increase long-term motivation and reduce the need for external pressure, as the individual learns to rely on their internal drive to maintain focus and discipline. Finally, it's important to recognize that accountability and external pressure must be applied in a balanced and healthy way. Excessive pressure or unrealistic expectations can lead to stress, burnout, and negative feelings of resentment or helplessness. Therefore, it's crucial that external pressure is used strategically and in conjunction with support, encouragement, and realistic goals. When done right, accountability and external pressure serve as powerful motivators, guiding us toward success and ensuring that we remain focused, disciplined, and committed to achieving our objectives. Chapter 8: Sustaining Long-Term Discipline. Sustaining long-term discipline is often a much more challenging endeavor than the initial surge of motivation that typically accompanies starting a new goal or project. It involves the ongoing commitment to follow through on actions and habits that align with one's long-term objectives, despite obstacles, fluctuations in motivation, and the inevitable plateaus that occur. One of the most crucial aspects of sustaining long-term discipline is creating a foundation of habits that support consistent action toward goals. Habits are powerful because they automate behavior, making it easier to follow through on tasks without requiring constant conscious effort or willpower. For instance, someone working toward a fitness goal may start by setting a routine of daily exercise, which over time becomes a habitual part of their day, reducing the mental effort needed to make the decision to work out. The key is to start small and focus on making incremental changes that can eventually become ingrained routines. When habits are well established, they require far less discipline to maintain because they become automatic, which helps people stay on track even when motivation is low. Another essential component of sustaining long-term discipline is resilience, the ability to push through difficult or discouraging moments. Everyone faces setbacks at some point in their journey, whether it's a failed attempt at a goal, external obstacles, or unexpected events that disrupt progress. Resilience is the capacity to bounce back from these setbacks without losing sight of the overall objective. It's about recognizing that setbacks are a normal part of the process and reframing them as learning opportunities rather than failures. This mindset shift is vital because it prevents discouragement from derailing long-term progress. When setbacks are viewed as stepping stones to success, they become less threatening and more manageable. Developing this resilience requires persistence, self-compassion, and a refusal to let temporary obstacles determine the outcome of a long-term journey. Staying disciplined over the long haul also demands regular reflection and evaluation. Without periodically reassessing progress, it's easy to lose sight of why certain goals were set in the first place, or to become complacent. Regular reflection, whether through journaling, goal-setting reviews, or discussing progress with a mentor or accountability partner, helps individuals maintain focus and adjust their approach when necessary. This process of evaluation ensures that goals remain relevant and meaningful, which is essential for maintaining motivation. It also helps identify areas where discipline may be faltering, allowing adjustments to be made before small issues become major problems. The act of reviewing progress not only reinforces commitment, but also provides insight into personal growth and areas for improvement, both of which are important for sustaining discipline in the long term. Another key element is the importance of creating a supportive environment. This includes both physical and social aspects of the environment, which play a significant role in maintaining long-term discipline. For example, a person working toward a writing goal might set up a dedicated workspace free from distractions, allowing them to focus on their craft. Similarly, social support is a powerful factor in staying disciplined over time. Having people who share similar goals or who encourage and hold one accountable can provide significant motivation when discipline starts to falter. These support systems, whether in the form of accountability partners, mentors, or groups with similar interests, offer both encouragement and constructive feedback, which can be invaluable in maintaining consistent effort. Moreover, knowing that others are aware of one's goals creates an additional layer of responsibility and a greater sense of obligation to follow through, especially during times when motivation wanes. Celebrating small victories is another vital practice in sustaining long-term discipline. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of long-term goals and forget to acknowledge the progress made along the way. However, celebrating incremental successes can serve as powerful motivation. These small wins provide positive reinforcement, signaling to the brain that progress is being made, which in turn makes it easier to continue pursuing larger goals. It's essential to recognize that long-term success is often built upon a series of smaller achievements. By acknowledging and celebrating these, individuals can maintain momentum and stay motivated throughout the journey. Whether it's marking a milestone, rewarding oneself with something meaningful, or simply reflecting on the hard work that has led to a specific achievement, celebrating small victories helps maintain focus on the end goal. The concept of a growth mindset is also central to sustaining long-term discipline. A growth mindset refers to the belief that abilities and intelligence are not fixed, but can be developed with effort, learning, and persistence. This mindset is critical for long-term discipline because it encourages individuals to embrace challenges, view failure as an opportunity to learn, and continuously seek ways to improve. When someone believes that their efforts can lead to improvement, they are more likely to persist through difficulties and maintain discipline over time. Conversely, a fixed mindset where individuals believe their abilities are innate and unchangeable can lead to frustration and give up after facing challenges. The growth mindset fosters an attitude of perseverance and continuous self-improvement, both of which are essential for long-term discipline. Moreover, it's important to understand that discipline is not something that should be purely driven by willpower alone. It's also about managing energy levels effectively. Willpower tends to fluctuate throughout the day, and as it gets depleted, it becomes harder to stay disciplined. To avoid burnout and maintain consistent effort, individuals should focus on optimizing their energy through self-care practices such as getting enough rest, exercising regularly, eating well, and practicing mindfulness. When physical and mental energy are replenished, maintaining discipline becomes much easier. Additionally, individuals should learn to prioritize tasks and focus on what matters most, ensuring that energy is used in the most productive and effective way possible. Managing energy effectively means not only taking care of the body and mind, but also protecting time from distractions and unnecessary commitments. Another important consideration in sustaining long-term discipline is the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Life is unpredictable, and situations change over time. The ability to adjust goals, strategies, and approaches in response to new information or external changes is critical for maintaining discipline in the face of uncertainty. Rigidity and an unwillingness to adapt can lead to frustration and discouragement when things don't go as planned. Being flexible with the process allows individuals to stay on course, even when faced with unexpected challenges or shifts in priorities. It's important to approach discipline with a mindset that is both committed and adaptable, understanding that success is a journey that may require course corrections along the way. Discipline is also closely linked to the ability to delay gratification. In today's world, where instant rewards are often just a click away, the ability to postpone immediate pleasures for long-term gains is more important than ever. Sustaining discipline over time often requires resisting short-term temptations and focusing on long-term rewards, which can be difficult in a world full of distractions. This skill of delaying gratification is essential for achieving meaningful success in any area of life, whether it's in academics, fitness, or professional endeavors. Learning to make sacrifices in the present for a better future requires a high level of self-control and awareness of one's long-term goals. By cultivating the ability to delay gratification, individuals can stay focused on their objectives and avoid the temptation to give in to distractions or short-term pleasures that undermine their progress. Lastly, developing sustainable discipline involves recognizing the importance of rest and recovery. Discipline is not about pushing oneself to the limit without taking breaks. It's about creating a balanced routine that incorporates periods of rest and relaxation. Overworking or overexerting oneself can lead to burnout and a decrease in motivation, making it harder to stay disciplined in the long term. It's important to strike a balance between consistent effort and allowing time for recovery, whether that's through sleep, hobbies, social time, or simply stepping away from tasks to recharge. Recognizing that rest is an integral part of maintaining discipline helps prevent burnout and ensures that energy levels are high enough to sustain continued effort over time. In summary, sustaining long-term discipline requires a combination of strategic habit formation, resilience, regular reflection, support systems, small victories, a growth mindset, energy management, adaptability, delayed gratification, and proper rest. It's a dynamic and ongoing process that demands consistent effort and a commitment to personal growth. By integrating these principles into daily life, individuals can maintain the discipline necessary to achieve their long-term goals, no matter how challenging the journey may be. Conclusion. The conclusion of the book emphasizes that achieving long-term success and fulfillment is not a product of fleeting motivation, but rather a result of cultivating discipline, which is the cornerstone of sustainable progress. While motivation may be intense at the start of a new goal or endeavor, it is the discipline to consistently take action, regardless of external circumstances or fluctuating feelings, that ensures steady advancement. Discipline is framed not as an innate quality, but as a skill that can be developed over time through intentional effort, self-awareness, and a structured approach. The author highlights that, unlike motivation, which can be easily diminished by distractions, emotions, or temporary obstacles, discipline remains steadfast in the face of challenges. It is the internal drive that helps individuals to stay on course when enthusiasm wanes and external validation is lacking. The book stresses that discipline involves making choices that align with long-term objectives, even when immediate gratification or comfort is tempting. This ability to delay short-term pleasures for long-term gains is presented as a key factor in fostering lasting achievement. The conclusion also revisits the importance of habit formation, which serves as the foundation for sustained discipline. By automating positive behaviors, individuals reduce the reliance on willpower and make it easier to maintain consistency. Over time, the actions that were once difficult or energy-draining become second nature, reducing mental fatigue and making long-term discipline more manageable. Establishing strong, positive habits requires conscious effort in the beginning, but leads to increased efficiency, focus, and productivity in the long run. The conclusion underscores that the journey toward success is not a linear path, but one filled with obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. However, these challenges should not be seen as roadblocks but as opportunities for growth. The book encourages readers to embrace the learning process, acknowledging that mistakes and failures are a natural part of progress, and that resilience is essential in overcoming them. Moreover, the book stresses the importance of maintaining a growth mindset throughout the pursuit of goals. With a growth mindset, individuals see challenges and setbacks as stepping stones to improvement rather than indicators of inadequacy. This mindset allows individuals to persist even in the face of adversity, as they understand that their abilities and skills can be developed over time through consistent effort. This positive, adaptive approach helps individuals stay focused on the long-term vision, especially when immediate results are not visible. The conclusion also highlights the role of external support systems in maintaining discipline. Whether through accountability partners, mentors, or social networks, having a support system in place can offer both motivation and practical guidance. These external sources of encouragement can provide critical feedback, help track progress, and hold individuals accountable, ensuring that they stay committed to their goals. Another key aspect discussed in the conclusion is the importance of self-reflection. The ability to periodically evaluate progress, assess habits, and make adjustments is necessary for staying on track and ensuring that discipline remains intact over the long term. Self-reflection allows individuals to identify what's working, what's not, and where adjustments need to be made. It also provides a sense of purpose and keeps the individual connected to their core motivations, preventing the goal from becoming merely a checkbox on a list of tasks. In addition to self-reflection, the book emphasizes that celebrating small wins along the way is an essential practice for maintaining motivation and reinforcing discipline. Acknowledging and appreciating progress, no matter how small, provides positive reinforcement, which boosts morale and encourages continued effort. These small victories serve as reminders that progress is being made and that the larger goal is within reach. Discipline, the book argues, is also about managing one's energy effectively. Sustaining long-term discipline requires an awareness of when to push oneself and when to rest. Overworking or neglecting rest can lead to burnout, making it even more difficult to maintain the level of effort required for long-term success. Proper time management, energy optimization, and maintaining a healthy work-life balance are essential for keeping the momentum going without sacrificing well-being. The book also touches on the idea that self-compassion plays a vital role in sustaining discipline. It is easy to be overly critical of oneself when progress slows or setbacks occur, but practicing self-compassion helps individuals to recover quickly, recalibrate, and stay committed. Instead of being discouraged by perceived failures, self-compassion encourages individuals to treat themselves with kindness, acknowledging that the journey toward success is a process that involves both successes and struggles. The author emphasizes that sustaining discipline is not a one-time event, but a lifelong practice. Over time, as individuals continue to build and refine their habits, strengthen their mindset, and develop resilience, discipline becomes an ingrained part of who they are. The book asserts that anyone can cultivate this discipline with the right mindset and tools, making it possible for anyone to achieve their goals, regardless of how ambitious they may be. By focusing on gradual, consistent progress rather than expecting instant results, individuals can avoid the frustration and burnout that often accompany unrealistic expectations. The ability to take small, manageable steps toward large goals is what leads to true and lasting success. Ultimately, the conclusion encourages readers to adopt a mindset of long-term perseverance, understanding that discipline is the key to transforming aspirations into tangible achievements. It suggests that by combining discipline with resilience, self-reflection, growth, and support, individuals can stay on the path toward success and make continual progress toward their most meaningful goals.